Hi, welcome to the Vergas Show. I'm Sherry Hansen. Thank you for joining me. We're on our second segment here. We're out on beautiful Loon Lake with Charles and Elvina Lilibridge, so thank you for joining me. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary of Lilibridge's Maple Beach Resort. We heard last week on how they drove in as city slickers and they soon became community members of Vergas, so I love how that happened. But Elvina, you were telling a story. You say that the Vergas Fire and Rescue have helped you, that the community of Vergas has always been supportive of you, and so you feel that you want that support back. And so I'd like to hear what you have to say about that.
Well, we've always gone. We've gotten to know a lot of the people on the fire department. Of course, a lot of them weren't even born when we came, yes. Including Sherry. Right. Anyway, one day I came out back from Fargo, and as I came out, I heard this squealing. Tremendous squealing, and I looked up in the left corner, and here was a cat up in the tree, and I said to Charles, how long has it been there? And he said 2 days. I said, well, he won't be there a third day. So I called John Brune, and John was not home. So I called, I think it was one of the Zitzo boys. In about 5 minutes, 2 trucks came out, and the workers, the firemen, had all their regalia, and I couldn't believe it. It was a warm day, and they came down to the beach, and I said, there's the cat up in the tree, and it was about a 60 or 65 foot tree. Well, anyway, one of the fellows decided, they looked at it and they wanted to figure it out. So one of them started climbing up the tree, and the other one followed. And as they got up, it was a strong tree, so they didn't, I think they felt secure in it, but they had a little net that they were going to be using. And as they went up, the cat looked at them, you could see that, and as they got a hold of the cat, the first person, and as the first person was handing it to the second person, the cat jumped off the tree, down the tree, and ran away, and then came back and sat and looked at them. And we all just stood and laughed. And I took pictures because I wanted to see this picture of all this equipment for a cat. I mean, it was so funny. And I was so embarrassed to call them in the first place, but I didn't know who else to call. There wasn't anything else. And they all came.
Isn't that the the beauty of community, and it's the beauty of having a volunteer fire department. Those guys, I cannot say enough good about the Vergas Fire and Rescue Squad. Yes, both of them, they're just great. Charles, you were talking a little bit about when you first had your resort, you had 3 cabins, and obviously you have more than that now. How many cabins do you have right now?
We have 10 that we rent, and then we have this A-frame for ourselves.
For yourselves. And so now, when you first started out, of course, they had the outhouses. And so you had a story you wanted to tell about the outhouses.
The cabins had cold running water with no heaters for the water, and outdoor. I always said outdoor toilets. I always said it was 3 rooms and a bath. And it was just getting dark one day, and this little old lady came. I saw her walking across the road to the toilet, to the outhouse, and which is not unusual, of course. And then all of a sudden she screamed and ran back, and I thought, well, gee, what's going on here anyway? And here she had a flashlight with her, because it was just getting dark, and she laid the flashlight on the. It was a 2-holder, by the way, and laid the flashlight in between the 2 holes, and it rolled over and went into the 1 hole. And of course she heard that thump, 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 and looked over, and here's his flashlight shining up at her. So she got scared and screamed and ran over, and they ran out of the house and to see what the matter was. And she said it was her flashlight, and I want that flashlight. And she had 2 grandkids there, and she said the one that gets that flashlight, I'll give him $0.25. Well, they said, don't worry about the flashlight. We can get you another flashlight. No, I want that flashlight. It's my flashlight, and that's it. So, but one little boy got his $0.25.
Oh my goodness! Yes, I'm sure that the stories, yeah. You could write a book. I know it was just lovely this year when you sent out. I was a proud recipient of getting one of your newsletters and all the pictures, and it just shows to me the family that you create with the resort. I always thought it would be fun to be a part of a resort, and because I think the people. How has the resorting business changed, Elvina?
Well, when we first came, they were mainly men. But there was one couple who brought a man. They were from Kansas, and they came with Holden and Rudy. They came with it all the time. Well, as we've progressed, we've gotten into 5 generations. We have 2 or 3 families. Of course, the 5th one is not with us anymore. But anyway, people are starting more into vacationing. And fishing is tremendous on the 3 lakes, on all the lakes in this area. But people want to go skiing, they want to go take their pontoons, and they just want to have more enjoyment than going out for that final catch. Right. And I mean, but combining the two has made it a lot of fun. Sure. Now, the fellow that just left here, we've had 4 couples meet at places we've owned, and one of them was in cabin 4. These people met here 35 years ago by the pop machine. In fact, Jerry just left. Mary and Jerry. And it's been fun. It's been
fun. I'm sure you've seen a lot of change on that. You know, family resorts are just dying in Minnesota. So I just commend you for keeping it up, and it's got to just be a love of it. What I'd like to announce is that the Vergas Community Club has asked Charles and Elvina to be their grand marshals for the Looney Day Parade this year, and so we're very, very pleased. And one of the things that promoted that or got us to that point, we've got just a quick minute here on that to talk about, Charles, but every year we would call you as a community club and would say, Charles, you've got all your convertibles. Will you be able to carry some of our queens in the parade? And so that, tell us how, just quickly, Charles, of what you thought of when we would always call you on that.
Well, we were always glad to do that. We always had at least half a dozen convertibles in the parade, and in the car show on the street before the parade, and we did that for many, many years. And Queen contest too. We were doing that maybe 20 years or more.
Right. You've been very good supporters through the Vergas Miss Vergas pageant, and being a sponsor for that, and like I said, you know, also bringing your convertibles into town. And so I just can't say enough of how pleased I am that you've been community members here for 50 years. I'm glad that you were those city slickers that drove in that day and decided to purchase some property on Loon Lake, and I hope that you plan on sticking around for a while, because
as long as we're breathing, we will be here, I guess.
All right, that sounds good. So hopefully you'll take part in Vergas Looney Days, which is August 9th through the 11th, and the parade is on Sunday, and you're going to want to be on the streets, lining on the streets, and you're going to want to wave to Charles and Elvina Lilibridge when they go by as our grand marshals and holding the parade, and take pictures, because you might have them end up in something like this. Exactly. All right. You have a good day in Vergas. Stop down and say hi to Charles and Elvina at Lilibridge's Maple Beach Resort. They're celebrating 50 years. Have a good day.